to the Wednesday night IT live here with Evan Veith and Nash Talks Texas. How we doing, boys?
Good, good.
I'm doing great. Texas baseball's 24-4.
I had a feeling that may have been coming from my guy Nash. And go check out all the baseball content where my guy Nash talks to Evan and Evan as well over on Inside Texas. You get half off right now, that Ultimate Fan Bundle. We still got it up and running. I know a lot of you have subscribed, but if you haven't, go take advantage of that great deal. There's my guy Chris Bennett checking in first per usual. We're here. Talk a little bit about being, the midway point of spring ball. We'll get into maybe a little bit of Texas baseball later. As Nash said, they're off to a hot start, just having a sweep over the Oklahoma Sooners. And then you have the women still on the hardwood. You got 4 teams left. Some people out there call that the Final Four. Texas UCLA tomorrow night, 8:30 Central Time. Big matchup. So thanks for being here with us tonight on Inside Texas. Hey, let's get to it. I know it's only spring football, man, but it's still a really, really exciting time to be a part of Inside Texas. Go over there. You can see all the articles. We got a lot of good stuff. But we're at the midway point, and so we're going to ask our guy, Evan, if he'll give us a couple of his big takeaways. Evan, how much of this week's practice have you got to see, if any?
They don't let us see it, unfortunately. They just let us hear about it. So that is the annoying part. Like you get to kind of be in front of it for the first week, and you get all excited about it, get all excited about seeing things, and then they shut the door on you.
That's just life in general. I feel like, that's
Right.
just, keep chasing that carrot, baby. But yeah, man, as far as takeaways, what are a couple of the big things, maybe some things you maybe were looking to see into spring, some questions you had that maybe they're not fully answered, but you like the way it's trending for Texas. Just give me a couple things off the top of your head that have stood out for you, brother.
Yeah, CB's got it going on right there. Just the Twitter post that just got dropped about Texas. It's Cam Coleman going about 60 inches into the air and catch a ball. The guy is legit. I mean, one of the funny things about this practice is that there really was only one of the 4 most experienced wide receivers. I guess 2 of the 5 most experienced wide receivers were really healthy right now. It's Coleman and then Daley McCutcheon because Wingos and Mosley have been hurt. And Khalil Lockett's also out now until the fall summer ball. So, Coleman's gotten a lot of attention. It's warranted. The dude is just too good, too athletic. He's someone that there's a reason for all that hype around him, and I think he's just going to be really good this year. It's just nice to be able to say that. Nice to be able to say, like, hey, this guy's on the team. It's not a theoretical at the wide receiver room position anymore. Of course, he needs to produce. He didn't produce at Auburn as much. That wasn't really his fault, was it? So. Just a lot of hype around the talent on the roster. Colin Simmons, you heard Sark talking about how, like, we have to hold him back. Like, Simmons is too good right now, but he's matured a lot. He doesn't feel the need to, like, have to touch the quarterback when he's doing his reps out there. Like, he can let the rest of the field have their moments when they're doing the reps in practice, even if he's beating the right tackle or left tackle or whoever he's against. But for me, I think because of so many injuries on this team and also because of so many new faces, I was really interested in just how many new names actually sound like they're making a difference and how many new guys are, like, truly separating themselves a little bit. And I don't know if there's a lot of separators yet just because we're only halfway through, but, like, I really liked that Sark was super high on Jordan Coleman when he was asked about him. Like, that was that a name that any of you guys thought coming into camp? Like, Jordan Coleman's going to be someone you hear about? Probably not. And it's not that he's going to be the number 1 tackle this year, but you have a guy who's stepping into the left tackle role in camp, and he's not embarrassing himself, and he's going against Colin Simmons. He's going against Lance Jackson and all these guys. And he's still someone that Sark's, like, publicly saying, like, whoa, that athleticism really pops to me. So that's nice to hear. Same thing with Lacey and Bell at quarterback. We heard really good things about Bell at the actual scrimmage from what Eric and Lean reported on our website, which that's just got to get you excited about a 5-star kid already showing up at scrimmage time. So Bell, Lacey, Coleman, all those guys. And then defensively, like those freshman linebackers, they just continue to have their names pop out. Tyler Atkinson's a dude who just, like, he's going to play this year because of how good he is. Same with Jermaine Bishop as a freshman. But, the linebacker room was a little bit of a concern coming into the year. I think just because not a lot of natural fits at that true middle linebacker position. But it seems like Juice Cryer is better than a lot of people thought. He was just on a bad team last year, and Tyler Atkinson's going to play. And we'll see about Brad Spence. But, like, it's not just a group that's going to be undersized and not being able to stop the run. So mostly positives. It's just, like, a lot of people are injured, so you can't hear about everyone. But good to hear that Manning and Mosley and Wingo are starting to practice again, and we'll hear about Gooseby more, I think, as the latter half comes in.
And just real quick, would that be your biggest negative if you had to have one? Would just be the amount of injuries Texas has, particularly on the offensive side of the ball?
Yeah, that or, like, it sounds like penalties are a problem again. And it looks like, wow, deja vu for the 5th year in a row Sarkisian. Yeah, there's been a penalty problem with this team for some time now, and it doesn't seem like it's gone away yet. I wouldn't have expected it to go away in the first 3-4 weeks of spring camp with like we said, those injuries. It's kind of an institutional problem. That's what happens when you run a pretty complex NFL offense. You have a lot of new guys coming in. Like the starting line, how many guys are at their same spot from last year? It's just Connor Robertson, and he technically wasn't even the starter at center for most of the year. Brandon Baker's learning a new position. Jaden Chapman's finally solidified as a guard. Coleman wasn't a first-line guy. Siani wasn't here. So those guys are going to have infractions. I'm just concerned at how many are actually going to be happening when it comes to like Ohio State and LSU and things like that.
That's well said, man. And we do appreciate the insight. We just got this live footage real quick of Nash Talks Texas back in his junior high football days, guys. Check that out right there. Look at Nash flying there. I know. I obviously see that's the play that Texas football just dropped on the Twitter sphere. And, Cam Coleman going up and high pointing a football, something that's going to be, a weapon that you really didn't have in the arsenal last year. There's a time or two where Ryan Wingo went up and high pointed a football, but not with traffic like that, not with a good long defensive back with like Cade Phillips on draped all over him. It's really good coverage. Like, what do you do there as a defender? But again, glad to have Cam in the fold, and cool Texas football to drop that as we're getting started. Nash, everything that Evan said right there. What are your biggest things that make you feel good about that? I know you're big O-line guy. You need to see this O-line be a little bit better. But what do you have to say about what you've heard from spring ball so far?
Yeah, I mean, one, I don't think I've ever jumped that high in my life, and I don't think I ever will. Let's just get that out of the way. But two, I think for me, one of the things that I want to see the most is we're not going to see it until the live games come in, which is that run blocking. I mean, obviously you're going to see it a little bit, but to what Evan said, or like coming off the rip on live, Texas football really. Not just Texas football, but just Texas in general. If there's anything with a magnitude of importance to be shown, we're not seeing it, right? Like Texas, especially Texas football, we're not gonna. If Evan gets to see anything, it's going to be the most vanilla stuff that you've ever seen in your life. It's the most basic stuff that they teach you in tutorials on Madden when you're playing that. There's no real contact or anything, so they're going to keep that behind lock and key. We do have the spring game coming out soon, but again, that's going to be a lot of the same stuff. It's just going to be really, really vanilla stuff there. I like to hear about the athleticism with this offensive line because, I mean, that's kind of the prerequisite to going out there and getting some good run blocking is you got to have some athletic bodies that can move and get down the field. So that is really nice. But, I mean, overall, I'm pretty happy with what we're seeing out, like Evan said, with all the injuries that you have out of camp. I'm pretty happy with what we're seeing, or the information that's coming out.
Well, one thing about injuries, though, is like you're getting valuable reps for other guys. You know what I mean? KJ Lacey is able to step up and, run with the ones and get a feel for that. One day this whole show will be his. And then same for Diabell. He's getting, maybe some of these guys are getting expedited learning curves there. So don't like to get guys who are hurt, but at the same time, at least it's in the off season. You're able to wrap some of these injuries up, get things tidied up. But yeah, of course, you'd like to have some of that experience. Hey, Chris, my guy's in there. Other Chris. Mr. Bennett's second dinner tonight. Yeah, we've been at junior high track meet all day, so we were tearing the Frito pies up, man. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, probably we'll regret that down the road, but it is what it is. Evan, what you got? Biggest surprise out of spring camp for you so far, brother?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think maybe the way, like, I had a feeling Bo Masco would be good, and like he'd be a good cornerback for this team, but the way they talk about him is like best cornerback at both on the inside and the outside. And we'll see how much that materializes. That might just be he's a senior and that's what happens. But, Rutgers is a Big Ten program. He was playing Big Ten football and he had really, really good stats and pretty good tape last year. So him being pretty much already solidified as a starter, I thought there would be more of a competition there. But I think we know our front three cornerbacks in Littleton, Phillips, and Masco. I think they're going to be really good. But I didn't really expect to hear Masco's already draping over these guys and he's just far and away the most polished dude on that part of the role on that part of the defense.
Yeah, I mean, I feel really good about it just for the fact that Texas went in there and took him. I mean,
Yeah.
and I know that seems silly, but I trust the staff, especially trusting evaluations from this particular defensive regime. And so as soon as they took him, I'm like, there's a very particular reason they love this tape. They've seen something really good on film against a really good opponent or a really good wide receiver. They've seen something. And so as we get into the tape, it's like, yeah, he is really dang solid. He does have a really positive reps. Glad to hear it's it means Texas is hitting on Bo Masco. So that's I don't know, like you're saying, if that's necessarily a surprise, but it does feel really good. Like, hey, yeah, it worked out there for me. I'm gonna go with Cooper, the running back. I really didn't think that people would be raving this early, again, a spring ball, but again, that people be raving about him the way that they are. Like on Sunday's show with Eric, which I thought was a great show. If you missed that one out, went twice as long like we normally do when we get on together, but he was raving about Mr. Cooper coming in and looking really, really good, maybe a little bit more burst than a lot of people expected. Nash, you see a path to some maybe extended playing time for Cooper, considering Texas brought in two backs who have already, pretty much accomplished, or they've proven themselves at other places, albeit.
It's going to be hard because I mean the proof is in the pudding with the numbers. Steve Sarkisian, one running back. It'll be interesting to watch how he splits the running back 1 and 2 duties. Because in Steve Sarkisian's offenses, you've really only seen he'll give running back 1 will get by far and away majority of the carries. Running back 2, they'll get some carries. Once you get down to running back 3 through 5, it gets to be pretty slim pickings there. So it'll be in, but I don't think he's necessarily outside of his time at USC. It's or like early days when Pete Carroll was coaching. I don't think he's had a 1-2 punch necessarily that you're going to have at running back. No, I'm not saying that it's with these guys' names like the level, but the last time you saw it probably was like Reggie Bush and Lindell White. Again, I don't think that these guys are going to be at that level of running back production, but because that's a pretty high level to get to, pretty high bar. But I think this is one of the first times that you've seen it's going to be really split probably early on. That might actually bode well for Cooper when you're looking at that, because if you have like a running back 1A 1B situation, Cooper might end up getting some more touches that he otherwise wouldn't, because it's not like a guy like a Jonathan Brooks is getting majority of the carries and Baxter gets some of the carries, and then Jaden Blue is going to be having to fight for those running back 3 touches like we saw in 2024, or 2023, whichever year. I'm mixing up my years right now, but either way, I think there might be a path for him to actually get some decent touches, especially if, honestly, what it's really going to come down to is trust. You see Steve Sarkisian, he has the same Pete Carroll stuff all around the locker room and all that stuff. Every wall you see it's all about the ball. If you fumble the football, you're not going to get those touches. And if one of those 2 transfers is fumbling the football and Cooper's not, you can bet he will see a lot of touches.
And that another thing, the extended season, the expanded playoff, you're playing more games. You want to keep guys fresh. At the same time, you want to have him maybe ready to make his biggest contributions to the team by the end of conference play, by the time you go into the playoffs. And so you think like, okay, how does he use him? Considering you have Malik Brown, Hollywood Smothers, all 3 do things a little bit differently, but all 3 probably can contribute. At the same time, you've got a guy like Jermaine Bishop, and he's another, like you said, it's all about the ball. There's only one ball. How does Steve Sarkisian? How do we distribute? How do we distribute the touches here? I think that's going to be a really big question for Texas this year. Again, I think you'll see a lot of touches for different players, obviously in non-conference, but Arch Manning's shown that he'll, through the passing game, he'll throw to anybody and everybody. He attempted passes, I say last year, to double-digit targets, I think on multiple occasions. Could be wrong. Fact check me if you want to there. But,
let me add something onto that, Cord. Like, I saw someone asking on Inside Texas today, like, well, what about Michael Terry, Wildcat quarterback? And I didn't want to be rude or anything. I'm like, what about it? Like, you have your quarterback to do that. Do you really need Terry to be taking that many touches this year? Not to be mean to Michael Terry, but like, think about all the guys who, like, just with the ball in their hand can be a threat. Obviously, you have Arch. Now you have 3 running backs that sounds like you can rely on. Coleman, Mosley, Wingo, whatever extra you get from the tight ends, that's already 8 players. Of course, Jermaine Bishop has to be in there. Khalil Lockett's got to be in there. Dalen McCutcheon's got to be in there. Still haven't talked much about James Simon, but he's still kicking on this roster. He's a good in between the tackles runner. So it's just like, it's not that Michael Terry specifically I want to call out. It's like a guy shouldn't get the ball, but like, think about all the talented players are on this roster that are going to need touches at some point. And that's unfortunately the bad part about playing 9 conference games is they don't even get to beat up on 2 teams because Texas State and UTSA are better than most people's kind of cupcake out of conferences. There's no Furman on there. So that's sort of been nice to have like one less game to say like, all right, you guys go have fun. Like just go out and go wild on this team. But I think the roster knows by the time the fall comes around, Sark's going to know like these 8 or 9 playmakers are really my guys. And we need to get them on the field as much as possible.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, like Michael Terry probably going to be around Austin, Texas, and the 40 acres for a little while. There's other guys who, you spend a little bit more money on. There's a little bit bigger investments, the guys who have already been proven and accomplished players, and so probably also help Texas path to victory. I mean, that those guys they're going to have to come first. So again, it's not trying to you're not laughing at the guy for asking the question. That's something that could work, but think of all the other ways Texas can be successful down in the red zone, and it's shown obviously with Arch Manning and his legs. That can work out, man. But hey, none of this is going to matter if we don't improve on the O-line. Coach says the O-line fires off the ball, but don't drag their feet, which is, hey, it is improvement, but you still got to continue to work. And it is only spring ball. There is time to put that work in. Evan, from what you've seen of the O-line so far, and I know you briefly talked about it for a moment, you're kind of flying through everybody, though, how you feeling? Have you been maybe impressed by what you saw? You're like, hey, yeah, down the line, this group can get there. Are you a little worried? What are we thinking?
Yeah, I think what Charlie said, they look bigger. The nice thing about that availability we had at the spring, when the very first one was, I got to be right up close and personal watching them for a good 5 to 10 minutes, and they are bigger this year for sure. And I'm not that's not just me piping up the S&C program, which sometimes I know some people don't love the what's been, I guess, the product of the SC this past few years, but Melvin Siani is objectively a bigger guy at right tackle than Brandon Baker is. And I would like to have a big right tackle. That is nice for the run game. And you're seeing someone like Coleman is a big dude. Jaden Chapman's clearly put on weight. So the guys are bigger. And like Charlie was saying, I did see when they were doing their drills, they're getting up into the pads a lot quicker from just what I've seen than I think they were last year. It's much more about the concern for me, okay, they're going to run a lot of different concepts. It's going to be both zone and gap schemes, and they probably will be good at outside zone. That's something that the Texas O-lines have been good at doing. The running backs have been good at doing. It's not the most complicated thing, but can these guys double correctly? Can they create the right hole? Are they doing boots, and are they finding ways to actually create momentum and space for these running backs while also not committing penalties? So there's just always going to be too many questions about the O-line that we are never going to get answered this early. Kind of what Nash was talking about. It's just hard to really know. But if you want a tangible thing, they are bigger, and I think they're probably more athletic as the frontline 5 and also kind of the guys in that 7 to 8 range. Remember, you only need 8 O-linemen really throughout a year. So can they make sure that those 8 are athletic and know their stuff? I think so. And that's without Kojo, who's maybe the biggest of the group, who's probably going to be good in the fall and probably will be the backup tackle in the fall if it's not Brandon Baker. So, yeah, I think the guys are going to be a little bigger and they're going to be a little stronger. I think Connor Robertson also made some strides there. That's not really his forte, but that's at least a positive to build off of for them.
Hey, if we're bigger, cool. But I got to see the feet. I need to see the footwork. I need to see how we're moving. That was a big issue for this offensive line, particularly on the interior of this offensive line last year. Nash, you brought it up earlier. How do you move? Can you get out there on, GT stuff? Can you get out there and have guys following you? Can you cover ground? Can you not be in the way of teammates? Can you not throw timing off? And so, again, I'm with you, fellas. Gonna not in a won't believe it until I see it mode, but they're gonna have to prove it, on the football field. And I think not just to us 3, but a lot of guys at Inside Texas and then throughout the Texas fan base as well. Seems a better fit. Again, they were a much different unit in the back half of last season than they were in the first half. So we're not sitting here dogging them. We're just saying we're gonna have to see it. Okay, if you're to say Texas failed to the ultimate goal of winning a national title, I think, you'd have to start looking at the offensive line immediately and say, hey, was this unit, was this area of the team, were they good enough? And I mean, it's completely fair assessment to make. But all right, guys, we're going to hear from our first sponsor break of the night, a word from Mr. David McClellan, and we'll be right back.
Big financial decisions don't have to feel overwhelming. There's someone who can guide you every step of the way. David McClellan is a fiduciary financial advisor with Forum Financial, and he's working closely with his clients as a true financial life coach, guiding every aspect of your financial journey with expertise and care. If his name sounds familiar, that's because David was a swimmer at Texas and a member of several national championship teams. Today, he channels that same championship mindset into helping people win with their finances. David specializes in financial planning, and he's contributed numerous articles to Kiplinger on the topic of retirement tax bombs. And right now, David is offering viewers a free intro consultation to assess your financial situation. Do not miss this chance to get personalized guidance from a trusted expert. To schedule your free consult, email David at dmcclellan@forumfinancial.com, or you can call him directly at 312-933-8823. The contact info is in the description.
Alrighty, guys, let's keep going. Check on a couple of comments here. Yeah, Baisha and Rojo. I mean, that was a little bit of fun.
I mean, but to that point, that's probably the best running back room that Steve Sarkisian's had at Texas. And I mean, I would definitely agree. If Roschon Johnson came back for another year, I mean, one of my biggest arguments is the production that he gave us really screamed superstar level potential. And I think he could have had an amazing year as a full-on running back one. But Bijan got 50% of the touches, and then behind him, Roschon got about 25%, and then it scales down. And it's been that way the entire time at the University of Texas, or not just University of Texas, but at USC, at Atlanta, Alabama, even. It's kind of a Steve Sarkisian preference deal. And at a certain point, the numbers you're gonna have to trust the numbers.
We'll see. I mean, again, I think we see maybe we do blow out a couple of teams and we get to see Cooper some in non-con, but all right. Let's see here. Saul at the A&M game this year, the Arch was trying to throw the ball away before getting sacked. I think it resulted in an intentional ground call on one of the plays. You know, I mean, the play is, you know, you lose the yards, so wherever you take your intentional grounding, I mean, you're there for a sack anyway. So, like, you're not losing a trade-off as far as yards. You're not losing a trade-off, you know, I mean, loss of downs, but you do put the ball in the air. And, I mean, that can be, you know, risky, I guess. Me personally, like, you know, I mean, I guess I like my quarterback to be playing clean enough to know that, okay, hey, I have guys over there. You're taking a hit regardless. I don't know. Any comments on this one, guys?
I mean, I kind of like it because it shows our guys out there competing, you know. Like Arch Manning he's the quarterback that you're going to have to remind him 5 times before you go out on the drive saying, hey, don't take the hit. Don't take the hit. Don't take the hit. And Arch Manning is still going to go out there and take the hit. I mean, Arch Manning is just a total psychopath on the field. But it's like you said, it's controlled. It's not being out of control. It's not being, you know, he's not being stupid with the football. He's not being careless. I mean, I think he had one of the better turnover ratios in the country last year. I mean, Arch Manning, he plays smart football, but he's also putting his body on the line. And I mean, at the same time too, that's gonna motivate the team a lot more to go, you know what, if my guy's going out there doing that, I got to show up for this dude.
I mean, he ain't afraid to take a hit. I think everybody in the country believed that after the Florida game when he was on his back. It seemed like every 7 seconds. Yeah, Kevin, I mean, he definitely had a hard time, especially early in the season with, you know, the easy throws, the mesh concepts. And it seemed like when he did hit them, we dropped the football. And again, I'm not trying to cope or make a pass for Arch Manning because you got to be able to hit those. But does him being out the spring hinder his ability to improve? I mean, perhaps, yeah. But to me, a lot of it was just mechanics, you know, and I think a lot of it was from and I've been saying this since I joined IT back in August, a really sped up mental process. I played the quarterback position, obviously not the same level of Arch Manning or any particular Manning in general, but I was a mental just mess up there at all times. And I'm just saying from experience, I feel like I can recognize when a quarterback is kind of speeding through things. It's almost like he has like just blurry, sorry to bring out the rogues on here, but so just like everything is a blur for a minute, you know what I mean? Like everything just is moving too fast in his mind. Even if he's telling himself like, okay, I go here, these are my progressions. He's not really actually looking at his progressions. And so I don't know. That was just me. And again, I think that really affected him on the short throws more than some of the longer throws. Quicker body movements, shorter body movements. But again, any thoughts, fellas? Do you think it really is going to, you know, keep him back from being able to improve on some of that? Because Kevin's right. You know, he really did struggle on a lot of it.
I mean,
well, I was just going to say is like that wasn't a problem reported at all for a while. And it doesn't seem like it was actually coming up in spring or fall. Like it wasn't like he was just missing on these checkdowns. And it was like, oh,
Right,
God,
right.
we got for that. So I don't know. Like, I think he was hitting those last year in practice, and it just showed up in the game, and it was a problem. And that happens to players. Like, it's not the first time anyone's ever done that. It's not like Arch Manning's unique in that way, but I do think that I think he's the one of the team that can probably sustain just taking some reps off. I am someone who like thinks a quarterback needs every rep they can get. I think that's important, but like it's only been 4 weeks and he's already pretty much coming back in, and there's still a lot of time between now and football starting. So like I have a feeling that Sark is going to be very hard on him every time he misses one of those practice, because it won't be there won't be an excuse for that anymore. It's year 4. You are Arch Manning. You're going to be a Heisman favorite once again. Like, you have to hit those. But imagine how much better this offense was last year, just if half of those drops / misses are added. Like, I mean, I think back to the Georgia game where they had, and I'm bad at knowing the concept. And I remember I messed up the concept name when we talked about it last year, so I'm not even going to try. But, the offensive line's going downfield, and Ryan Wingo's kind of coming across field. And it's a screen that's also kind of like a mesh drag route concept. And if either of them, if Manning puts it better and if Wingo actually catches it, like, he's gone for 30+ yards at least. There's no one there, but
he could score, yeah.
Yeah, and it probably would have been a touchdown. But there was also ones where Wingo just dropped it. So it's both. It's on both of them. But yeah, like, there's no more excuses. I think it's more the answer than like he needs this time. Who knows what time he really needs if it wasn't a problem last year when he had all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I can guarantee that Steve Sarkisian is going to coach Arch Manning hard. We saw it when he was a backup for Quinn Ewers. He was getting his what repped on the sideline. If he made, even after throwing even after getting the team to a touchdown, Sark was pointing out, hey, these are the throws that you're missing, and he told reporters after that were asking about it, he was like, look, the guy wants to be coached hard, and I'm going to coach him hard. You coach those elite athletes even harder because you know that they can have a higher level of potential. And I mean, last year he absolutely was making those. From the people I was talking to, he was absolutely making those throws in practice. It was one of those head scratching, mystifying things going. I mean, he's doing everything right in practice. He's giving us all the confidence that we need. And like, Sark's not going to go out there and say, you know what, he's struggling with this throw. Let me start calling it in the game. Sark's not stupid, right? But yeah, I think people, to what you said, I think it goes back to what you said. Like, when the live bullets are flying, it's a different level. The quarterback position, it looks really, sometimes I shouldn't say it looks really easy, but a lot of people make it out to be a lot easier than it actually is. There are plenty of humans on this earth that can throw the football a good distance, they're athletic, they can run, but there's a lot fewer that can actually process the mental side of the game. I mean, if you ever go through that Gruden's QB camp where he starts listing off, he's spider 2 wide banana, all those things, like he's actually going out there and he's rambling off all these things that quarterbacks, they have to immediately grasp in that moment, then go tell all the wide receivers, tell the running backs exactly what the play is, verbatim, right? You cannot mess up one little part of it. You mess up one little part, the entire play's gone to crap. I mean, the quarterback position it's for a good reason. It's the hardest position. As a baseball guy, that I love a lot of baseball, and I think that there's a lot of hard things that you do in baseball. Like, hitting the baseball is the hardest thing, I think, to do in baseball or in sports. Playing the quarterback position is the hardest position to play. Like, if you're looking at a specific position, the things that quarterbacks have to do, the amount of reads that they have to make, I mean, it seems really easy when a good quarterback goes out there and does it. But I would just say that but to my original point, there's a lot of athletic people that can throw the football. And not to rip on a Jonah Williams, because Jonah Williams is obviously pretty smart for the athlete that he is. I mean, Jonah Williams would be playing football playing quarterback if he could do things that, make these processes at a higher level.
Yeah, no, you're dead right, man. I mean, it's a tough position to play, and I mean, yeah, he's Arch Manning, but he's still a human being with blood pumping through his body like everybody else, and gets nerves. And I mean, he's built like all of us. To me, it looked like maybe the pressure got to him a little bit. Maybe all of the hype that was put on him from, maybe it just all came to a head there, and he just, again, that's just my perception of the situation. I definitely agree with the fellows. It's a tough position to play, and we hadn't heard about it. Like Evan said, he didn't hear about it. We would have heard about it at IT. Like there'd have been all types of comments about, hey, we're really struggling to do some of the simple stuff, make some of the very simple throws. So then you got to look at Sarkisian and how that affects him as a play caller. When you're not able to run the very simple concepts, you can't complete mesh, you can't run some of your screens that are bread and butter. That starts to put a lot more pressure on a play caller. Obviously, it's going to change the way that he is perceived because what he's doing is not working. Well, players have to go out there and execute. It's an 11-man game, so they all affect each other. And then obviously that, it's a coach's livelihood. So it's not like Sark was trying to, he's like, oh, I hope he drops it here and then I can call something else. No, relax. So, all right, guys. Break number 2. We're going to Luxe Kitchen and Bath. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to love your kitchen and bathroom again? Luxe Kitchen and Bath will bring that to life. Luxe has been offering high-end kitchen and bathroom remodels for 3 generations throughout the greater Austin area. With 5-star review after 5-star review on Google and Facebook and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, you can put your faith in Luxe Kitchen and Bath's award-winning designers and skilled craftspeople to bring your dream vision to life. But that's not all. Luxe's all-star team also provides full home remodels, large additions, and even commercial build-outs as well. So call Luxe Kitchen and Bath at 833-358-LUXE today, or visit luxekitchenbath.com to discover where quality meets luxury and begin the process of transforming your home. Get your free quote today by calling 833-358-LUXE. That's LUXE, or by visiting luxekitchenbath.com. Contact info is in the description.
Alrighty. Hi, Miss Ingrid. Hope you're well. Sark stays status quo with receivers as well and doesn't rotate in towns. That's like me and my uncle were literally talking 10 minutes before this show started and talking about that because, Lockett's going to be out for a bit. You have Dede McCutcheon, who I think is going to probably play his way onto the field a little bit. You have a Jermaine Bishop, so I don't know. Any guesses? Do we see Sark go deeper this year into his wide receiver room maybe than ever so before?
I think it might be the opposite. Last year it was 4 by the mid to end of the year, and that was I want to say that was really the most. No, I mean with Wingo and Bond, they went to 4. So they've been at that number for the last 2 years, and I think that's realistic. But the 4th rotates a little bit. It's going to be a frontline 3, and those guys are so good that like Chris was saying, how do you crack past? You can't go past Coleman. Wingo probably not really either. Mosley's great, and that would probably be the one you sub out, and that's where Jermaine Bishop, if you want a true pass set and you just want to have good luck covering us type of receivers out there, have him in the slot, and then you're just faster than everyone else in the field. But then you want to get Lockett out there, but who do you take out for Khalil Lockett? Unfortunately, I'm really high on him. He's probably more of a relief guy this year for Coleman than anything. And I like McCutcheon, but does he do anything noticeably better than Mosley to take him off in a game against LSU or Ohio State or even when Florida comes around? So I think those guys will get plenty of playing time week 1 and 3. And if games go later and their Texas is up heavily, sure, they'll get in. But it's just hard for me to if Coleman can play 80% of the snaps, I want him out there for 80% of the snaps. Same goes for Wingo. So where are you finding the time to actually have them rotate together? I don't think this is not the year to do it. Same with when they had Worthy, Whittington, and Mitchell. Jonte Cook was probably talented enough to play a little more than he did, but what was the benefit of taking him out in favor of Adonai Mitchell or Xavier Worthy? There was none. There's no point in doing it because those guys were too good. They were NFL prospects, and that's how it is with this group of 3 right now.
I want Texas to be arrogant on offense. I want Sark to be like, listen, I'm going to throw my 2-back sets out at you because that's what we're going to be good at, and that's what I like to do. That's what I want to do. I want him to be able to run 12 personnel because his young tight ends have grown up and are ready to go out there, help as inline blockers. Mike Masunis is a hit as a transfer portal tight end. But I want these young bucks at receiver to get some run, baby. I want Sark. Dang it, I need it like I need air. Give me 5 receivers, baby. Let's throw off our tight ends. Let these backs go catch some Gatorade for a minute and throw me out there. Cam Coleman, Ryan Wingo, Emmett Mosley, Jermaine Bishop. Are you playing around with me? And then whoever you want to out of Dede and Lockett, we can play paper, rock, scissors on the sideline, trade off reps, whatever you want to do. But give me that 5% of snaps a game. I'm not asking for much. 1 in every 20 plays. Just let me see it. Let me see how it works. Because Arch, all of a sudden, everybody think about how Arch looked once you spread Texas's offense out last year, and all of a sudden you're spread out even more. And like you said, hey, you want to try to cover me? Good luck. You want to try to bring pressure? Arch was lethal against pressure, baby. Come at me. Come ahead and do it. And then also you can implement the quarterback run game from the 5 wide sets. You can still run things like quarterback power. You can run things. You can run whatever the hell you want. You can bring in your screen game. There's not too many concepts that you really can't bring into play there. But anyways, that's just me. Again, I was a pass happy quarterback. I just told you I was a quarterback. Of course, I want to go 5 receivers and throw that pillar around, man. What are you talking about? Yeah, this would be a fun shirt. We score a lot. We need to make it happen. And again, in the SEC, we're probably never going to put up the points like a Texas Tech did in 07, 08. I'll never forget the week before we played Tech, being at DKR. Texas was playing Oklahoma State at home. And before the game started, I was watching Kansas and Tech, and Kansas was decent. This was, the year after Kansas went to the Orange Bowl and beat Virginia Tech. Kansas was decent. They still had Todd Reesing, and Tech had put up like 60 something. And I was just like, Jesus, they might actually be legit this one time. This might be Tech's year. Of course, they did beat us the next week, but those Tech teams are special, man. They could really put up some points and put them up in a hurry. Rest in peace, Mike Leach. Still my favorite football coach of all time, man.
Yeah, I can almost promise you that's what you're asking for is not going to happen, Cord. Maybe
40 would be almost a pipe dream. I feel like 40 feels like that. Like we talk about.
I'm talking about the targets. I'm talking about
okay.
specifically like wide receiver targets. I mean, like when you're looking at the Steve Sarkisian offense in his 5 years here, the wide receiver one's gotten 31.7% in 2021, 29.6, 26.7, 22.3, and 26.6% of targets each year. The second guy, that's gone down to 13.8, 18.9, 19.3, 19.2. And then the third guy, he's right in that. I mean, when we had basically Xavier Worthy and Jordan Whittington and then nobody else, that 2021, that really kind of fell off a cliff. But mostly you're going to see it sitting right in that 13 to 18% range for the third target. The fourth target, that's when it gets low. And I would honestly argue having a guy like Cam Coleman makes it even worse. You look at his Devontae Smith year at Alabama. I mean, that 2020 Alabama team had a lot of good wide receivers had a lot of talent on that roster. And the fourth wide receiver on that team was getting 7.9% of targets. So that's because you got Devontae Smith getting 35.8% of targets. Now, Jalen Waddle getting injured, that had something to do with it, right?
Of course.
I mean, it's just when you look at Steve Sarkisian, a lot like with the running back room, the wide receiver room is in the same deal. I think it just comes down, and I think it all goes back to it's all about the ball type thing. Steve Sarkisian, he's going to have the guys that he trusts, and that's who he is going to give majority of the touches to until the game is completely out of reach and the game's over. It's hard for me. And even then, I mean, like you look at that 2020 team, that 2020 Bama team, they were blowing teams out. And you still have this huge disparity in the touches. And because to me, I think it's one thing to even get on the field, but it's another thing to get the ball thrown to you. And I think going off of what we've seen from Steve Sarkisian, there's either going to have to be an injury to somebody or, man, Bishop is just going to have to look like a guy that he absolutely cannot ignore.
Well, maybe it's matchup based. You know what I mean? Like maybe, they feel good about Jermaine Bishop.
Well, and it could happen for one game or so, but over a season long, looking at the season.
No, it's Sark likes what he likes, and he likes a lot of it, man. So.
And also he's pretty damn consistent on this.
Yeah.
And Chris, Jordan Shipley put up monster numbers against Oklahoma State in 08. I'm trying to remember, man. I was there. I know we won the game by 4 points. I'll never forget Oklahoma State throwing a Hail Mary up and knowing they had Des Bryant on the field. And I was sitting in that end zone, and I was just like, not like this, please. But no, we got our major heartbreak the next week instead. That's when the major heartbreak came. So funny how the world works. Yes, this is also true. I want to say OU scored 60+ 5 straight games in the regular season. Please go check that for me, Chris. I want to know if I'm right. I know that they absolutely just shithoused everybody. Like I'm just not going to lie to you. Like they they murdered people to end that season. Oklahoma State, Tech, A&M was in there. Yeah, Bob knew what he was doing. He knew he had to run the score up. Like, he was a smart guy. He knew that they weren't going to lose another game. He probably didn't expect Texas to lose to anybody, to be honest. But anyways, love going down that little painful memory lane. Whittington, Red River, yeah, that game changed when he got hurt. That game completely changed. Again, Casey Thompson breaking his hand in that game did not help either, but he was still able to throw the ball. I mean, that had been a ton of adrenaline, and it probably didn't really set in for the guy. But Whittington, that game changed. We weren't able to move the chains. Whittington was doing a really, really good job on third downs early in that game, helping Texas move down the football field. It's tough. Sorry, go ahead, Nash.
I forget what percent. He had a ridiculous percentage of the first down catches for Texas in 2021. It was like, going into that game, it was a just stupid high percentage. And I mean, it was clear, like like you just said, the third down ball, the ball. If you're a defensive coordinator, you should have been covering Jordan Whittington, only Jordan Whittington, on third down, because that's where the ball's going. I mean, and that, I think that just goes to like the whole trust aspect with Steve Sarkisian. Trust is his number one criteria on the football field.
Well, it's always just like a one-on-one matchup, because really, really quickly in his college football life, they realize we got to double Xavier Worthy. We got to bracket it. We got to do something, because this guy will eat you alive. And man, I miss X. I'm not gonna lie to you. Real quick on this, Robert, what are the odds if we go undefeated and Sark leaves and Coach Boone takes over the team? I feel like 0% chance. I don't think Sark leaves, and then that's when he bolts to the NFL. And I don't know if Texas would give it to Coach Boone just right off the bat. I feel like I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? But I just feel
that might be the most unlikely part of, like, undefeated, Sark leaves, boom. I think the first two are possible, but it's just too much of a risk to have him. You can go and poach someone. I mean, I'm not going to be one of those guys who's like, I don't think Lanning would leave Oregon. I don't think Freeman would leave Notre Dame. Those are too good of spots to be in as a coach. But like, pretty much after that, they would have their pick of the litter of whoever they want to throw a blank check at. Of course, but not Kirby, Date.
Hey, would you like to come coach our defending national championship football program?
Undefeated, best NIL in the country. Like, I don't think Lanning or Freeman would go, because their jobs are so much easier than the one at Texas.
I still stay on the side that I don't think Sark's leave. I think that's the biggest thing that Texas fans talk about. That's a non-burger. I mean, I look at a guy like Diabell, all the things that I've heard about him. I don't think Steve Sarkisian has any. I don't think he's rushing to go leave a quarterback like that anytime soon. And then also, I mean, I just, when you go to the NFL, to be able to draft a guy, you got to get approval from the head coach. You got to get approval from the GM. You got to have the owner. And even if the owner disagrees with you, like at Tennessee Titans, drafting instead of going Matt Leinart, who, to the Steve Sarkisian tree thing, you had Steve Sarkisian's offensive coordinator was out there. You also had another, I think the quarterback coach was out there as well. Like, you had Norm Chow, a couple other guys. They really wanted to go with keep the same guy in the same system, go with that USC dude, get the guy in that tree. And the owner said, nope, screw it. I'm trying to pull one over on Houston, and I'm going to draft a Vince Young. And it's one of these deals where I think that there's so little control that a head coach has in the NFL. I mean, not saying that Steve Sarkisian's God on campus, but if he wins the national championship, he is going to be God. I mean, people are going to let him do whatever the hell he wants. I think he has so much control as a college football coach, especially at the University of Texas, and he has this roster built to a high level. It would really surprise me to see him walk away, especially after an undefeated season.
Yeah, I'd be shocked.
I think the only ways it would happen are he either could go to a spot where the ownership isn't terrible and he has the number one overall pick and can just draft Arch with him and like just kind of keep that train going if that's possible, or like the Chargers or Bengals or like an already elite quarterback job opens up. Like, why would he go to the Falcons, even with Bijan, even if it's, kind of a cool environment, cool place, when they don't have a quarterback figured out? Like, what would be the benefit of him doing it? So like when you narrow it down to, you'd have to have the number one pick, or you'd need a coach to be fired from a team that already has an elite quarterback, which is already unlikely because if you got an elite quarterback, you're probably not going to get fired. It's hard to find the spot that would work for Sark, even if everything went his way in terms of his value increasing this year.
And I mean, and he would also be having to end the unless a team just gets stupid with the money, and makes a really what's going to amount to just a risky decision. I mean, you might as well go and gamble all that money in Vegas. I mean, the amount of money that he would have to be paid right now, he's making a salary that if you're an NFL coach and you're getting paid that much money, you've at least either has seen your team go to a Super Bowl and you've coached them in the Super Bowl, or you've won a Super Bowl. The amount of money that he would have to be paid is proven NFL money, and a team would have to be making a massive risk to go out there and hire him. I don't see it.
Time will tell. I mean, he's ours until he's not. Again, Robert, just answering that question the best we can, brother. Let's talk
the Jets. No, I'm sorry.
No, we're not even putting that on.
To Evan's point, I don't think he would ever go to the Jets. I think
not even
Jets, Browns, Titans. Like, what's the point? You're just killing your career.
You're saying I'm going to be fired in 2 to 3 years.
It's over before it ever began. No, I think he's pretty well built to handle a lot of different climates, places. He's going to be okay, man. He's a gamer. Again, Florida game spoke volumes for that young man, at least to me, and I think a lot of others. But let's talk a little bit of Final Four. Vic Schaefer, he's done it. He's back in the Final Four. Got Texas for the second year in a row in there. Obviously lost to South Carolina last year, Texas and UCLA this go around. Evan, you're a big hoops guy, man. What do you know about UCLA? Have you watched much of them? And, what do you think Texas's chances are here?
Yeah, I saw them when Texas won. I haven't put my eyes on them all that much. I know about them, and that's their center, Lauren Betts, and maybe she's more of a power forward. Really, really good. And I think when you watch that Michigan game, you can just tell that, like, Michigan was about 2 years away from truly being able to compete with this Texas team. Chris, I mean, the mean mugging, like, it was corny, but I kind of get it if you're Michigan because, like, you're a sophomore squad. They had this great sophomore recruiting class, and it's all guards, and they're super undersized. Like, you got to find some way to put yourself up on this. And, of course, Texas put belt on them, and, like, it wasn't close. But that's not going to be this game against UCLA. There's a clear – just women's college basketball, the 1 seeds are just so much ahead of the rest of the country. And, again, chalk madness for another Final Four, the exact same group again. So UCLA is going to have an interior presence. Oldacre's job is going to be a lot harder than it was against Michigan, where she was just dominating the glass and she could kind of get whatever she wanted down low. I think she's going to be less of an option offensively. It's going to be all about, like, Madison Booker. Can you give us that KD performance, that signature? Just you're going to go and win this game because you were the best player on the court. I think it's going to be a close game. It's going to come down to who can get those last buckets. And with Texas not being a big 3-point team, like, that's where you need your ISO scorer to be able to just go and get you a bucket. And I love when women's college basketball gets some national attention. You saw, like, little side rant. I hate when people vague post on Twitter. One of the worst new generation things that they do when people go, he looks just like him. Who is him? That could be anyone. But obviously with her wearing the KD number, like, she looks just like him. That cross into a pull up, like, mirror image of what KD looks like when he did that, like, late, like, Nets. I'm thinking KD, like, that is who she looked like. So can she be KD? Maybe. I think that they are the better team in this group, and, like, the role players have been so good this year, this run. So that gives me confidence that they can do it. And they've already beat UCLA. Sometimes those rematches kind of get you because the teams already knows what they've done wrong and they can specifically address that. But I don't know. Like, I just think this. Yeah, exactly. I think this Texas team might just be a wagon, and them and UConn were just destined to meet in the finals this year. I think they're the 2 best teams right now.
It's so many things to like about this team. Like, I genuinely don't know if I've liked any Texas basketball team, like, in history, like, as much as I like this one team. That's men's and women's both sides. And I wasn't old enough as a teenager to really appreciate, like, the elite run of basketball Texas played in the 2000s. Like, however many consecutive Sweet 16s Rick Barnes and them had. TJ Ford, we talked about it last week, the Final Four run, obviously. Kevin Durant's my favorite athlete of all time. Like, I love those teams, don't get me wrong. But, like, top to bottom, from the coach, I was never a Rick Barnes guy. I love Vic Schaefer. Obviously you talk about what Rory Harmon, what she's been through, and then just the perseverance, commitment to the university, to the program. You add a star like Madison Booker, who did I just say my favorite athlete ever is? Kevin Durant. Maddie Booker wears 35, has all the KD ties. Now she has a KD deal. One day that'll be me, Maddie, and Kevin just hanging out. But anyways, yeah, thanks a lot, Tim Floyd and Taj Gibson and freaking Nick Young, Swaggy P. We lost to Swaggy P in the second round. Not only lost, we lost by like 18 points. They like curb stomped us there. Again, they went after DJ Augustine. They made his life hard. But and again, this is just me glazing the Texas women's team for a minute. I love these ladies. Like they're incredible to watch. The effort, Nash, you talked about the way they play the other day. Like getting in a back alley street fight with these ladies is like one of the very last things I want to do in life. Like they're built for it, So again, Michigan, I thought the staring was incredibly corny. I don't mind intimidation tactics, but if you're their coach, she should have known what she was in for. And doing that and then getting blown out it's just a bad look. I don't care how cool it might come across. It's not a good look. Like, remember when USC did all the extra pregame stuff before they played Alabama and that neutral site game, and then lost, like, I don't know, it's like 52-17 or 52-10, like something.
Tennessee at Ohio State.
There you go, another example. I'm just saying, And so, but no, it's an incredible team. Now, I think that Texas and UCLA are the two best teams. I think whoever wins this one wins the national championship. I said that on Twitter, and I thought I would get more UConn pushback than I did. I was kind of trying to bait out there a little bit, see what we could fish in, see if anybody was on the lines. But again, and I'm not knocking Rick Barnes. It's not my favorite basketball coach, Cotton. I hope don't let me offend you, man. Yeah, Swaggy P, my God, is exactly my thought. Again, they drugged us. So, but this team, man, they got a shot. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to continue to have to get contributions from this bench. I think that's one clearly that they're at best. And I think when Texas is at their best, they're better than UCLA when they're at their best. At their ceilings, Texas and UCLA, in my opinion, the best two teams in college basketball. So hopefully it's Texas playing near their ceiling and not UCLA. I do think we're built really well to handle bets. We're really long on the inside. We got a little bit of length at guard. I don't believe Aaliyah Crump played in the first matchup. I believe that was right after her injury. Could be wrong. Need to double check that. But I think, again, it's going to go through Rory Harmon. Can she protect the basketball? Is she making good decisions? I like that. It seems like Texas and Vic Schaefer, like he's opened up the offense a little bit. Like they're playing a little bit faster. They're not getting super deep into shot clocks. They're not near as often as they were before. They're running and gunning a little bit more. He wants to play half court defense. And so sometimes when you get in an open court basketball game, it becomes a track meet. You're really not able to settle other teams down, play 5-on-5 in the half court. It becomes a lot of 2-on-3s, 3-on-2s, 3-on-3s. And so I like that he trusts his team to make proper decisions in the open court. You score the basketball, then sure, you can get your back and you can set up. But it's when you get into a track meet, when you get into a little bit of a sprint fest and you're not making good decisions, you're turning it over or just not scoring the basketball, that's when you get in trouble. And so it's cool to see. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't think, a month ago this team had national championship upside just because I didn't think that we could score enough against good defenses. I didn't think that I didn't expect Rory to go in here and be, what is she, like 14 of 29 or 14 of 30 from three? Like that is a whole other weapon. Texas blew Michigan off without my main girl, Jordan Lee, doing anything. She was abysmal. Couldn't have thrown a rock in the ocean. Jordan Lee is scoring 20 plus against UCLA. You need to be ready for it. Evan said we're not a great three-point shooting team, and they're not. We're really not. Jordan Lee is that one, though. Jordan Lee is the answer. When we have a good three-point shooting night, it's always because Jay Lee has 3 or 4 of them. She's about to go. She's knocking down at least 3, maybe it's 4. She's going to get to the free throw line a couple of times, get inside. She's about to have a big game. How many times do you see a really elite shooter like she is struggle that badly, bounce back, have a couple of big buckets? You know what? It could be a moment where she only has 3 points, but it's the biggest 3 points of the game, and it puts Texas, it ices a game or wins it. I'm just excited to watch them play, man. Very, very glad this program is where they deserve to be because I think they do things the right way. They put in a lot of work. Pretty funny to hear all the Michigan people complaining about fouls early in that game. There was a foul Texas got away with on one end, but if you go look when Texas scored his 20th point, Madison Booker gets hacked across the arm very hard. She actually screams and won to where you could hear it through the audio on TV. and there's no call there. So you can tit for tat with fouls all day long. Michigan ran
Those
into
got blown out.
yeah, you ran into a damn wagon. You know what I mean? And so I will say this: I'll be here Friday night, 8:30 on Inside Texas. We'll be doing the live reaction, the watch along party. So y'all will come be a part of that. Have some fun with me. I'm gonna overreact, man. These ladies, they mean a lot to us. They deserve it. All right. So we'll see. Aaliyah's got to be an X factor. That's going to be a big part of it. Can she step up, make some big contributions? Her length will be needed. These are big teams. Michigan, they were cooked from the jump. The size difference on the inside, they never had a chance. You saw Texas crush them on the glass. Hasn't Michigan learned its lesson in tunnels? To be fair, we were staring at them in football, and then they proceeded to do absolutely nothing about it.
Well, I don't think the staring was what did it for them. The second that they piped their mouth out and said that they said the words disrespectful,
you probably got a good
and
point.
You saw Vic Schaefer make a comment Vic Schaefer's not the type of coach to go out there and make a comment or something like that on Twitter. But so if you do that, you had to have gotten under his skin pretty good. And once that happened, I was like, man, this team's going to come out there. They're going to come out there with their hair on fire, right? they're going to be. They're going to be going out there to prove a point, right? And it's one of these deals like the coaching job that Vic Schaefer did too. Like the whole, I don't know, everybody's seen the whole Augie Greedo rant, right? Where Augie Greedo, he goes off on the baseball team and then they have that little word thing on after he leaves the locker room, and it's like Texas goes undefeated to go win the Big 12 championship, and then they wound up losing to LSU in the national championship. Probably should have won that game if just a cut, game of inches in that one. This reminds me a lot of the same thing where Vanderbilt, he goes out there, rips the players on the media stands, and then all of a sudden now they're undefeated since that point. I mean, this group, they're playing, they're just a different ball club to what you said. The offense is at another level. I think that another thing too, I mean, the whole Sarah Grave stuff is cool, right? But I think the coolest part about that to me is watching the way that the superstars go out there and react.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Rory and Booker they're cheering the hardest for her when she goes out there and hits a 3 or hits a 2 or something like that. I mean, it's just, this is when you talk about teams and team athletics, this is definition textbook of what you're going to see for a team. And I think that that goes through when you're looking at if one of these girls is having a bad game, right? You've seen Carlton go out there and have a great game. You've seen Preston go out there and have a great game. You've seen Cunningham go out there and have a great game. If there's a part of their game plan that they're struggling in and they have to make an adjustment, they do, and then they do it well. This Texas basketball team, they are an absolute wagon. And to what you said, I would like to be in a back alley fight with them, just on their side. not against them.
Literally with them on their side. Yeah, that's the thing, man. You talked about Justice Carlton, you got Bree Cunningham, you had everybody was coming in off the bench and making contributions. And DKW, my man, yes, Jordan Lee, too. There's the numbers, 2 for 17. I'm telling you, she's about to bounce back. We're not slandering her at all. 0 for 8 from deep. If she was 8 for 17 from the field, 3 from 8, DKW, you would have got the call. You'd have got subbed in. You'd have been Vic would have came to you, brother. If she would have had those numbers, because Texas indeed would have beat Michigan, even worse than they did. All right,
and she's never had a bad game back to back too. Anytime she's had a bad game, she actually came out there and responded the next game. So I mean, that just goes to show even more. I have a lot of faith in her.
Tweeted it in the third quarter of the game the other night. I mean, immediately got a couple of bookmarks. I didn't know UCLA basketball fans were out there, flirting with my Twitter timeline at least. I'm telling y'all, she's dropping. It might be 24, it might be 20 plus. Got to ask you, because Robert asked you, who's going to win a championship first, baseball or football?
Let's hear Nash.
I mean, I'm going to knock on wood right here, right? Because I'm so damn superstitious. I really, from talking to people, and then also having seen what we have this year, even when we're in our down stretches, we're still one of the best teams in the nation. I mean, this baseball team is just built the right way. It might be a deal where Texas baseball goes out there, wins the national championship in football, just like in 05, follows up and wins their national championship. So it's hard to say, they won theirs first. But, man, this baseball team is just built the right way. And at the end of the day, the goal is just to get into Omaha. And then once you get into Omaha, crazy things happen, crapshoots. I mean, it's just Omaha is its own little season that happens. And I've seen some really good teams go down and lose. And there's been some Cinderella stories. But then also I've seen a lot of really good teams go out there and win some baseball games. So I'm going to go with Texas baseball just because they're playing right now. But, man, football's been scratching on that door. When you look at baseball, I put out a tweet right now, like there is a clear top 3 teams in the nation that are in the running for a national championship. You got UCLA, Texas, and Mississippi State. Right now, Texas and Mississippi State are the only teams that are in ERA, walks, hits per inning pitched, K through 9, on base percentage, slugging, OPS, and runs scored per game. Texas and Mississippi State are the only teams in the top 25 of all those stats. And the more and more we go through this SEC season, it's looking like we're going to be watching a top 5 Mississippi State team. At that point, it could be even Texas as number 1 and Mississippi State's number 2 or number 3. That is going to be one of the games of series of the year for any, whether it's just SEC play, anything. That game, like that series, is going to be a massive deal. And we're watching a really special team right now.
They're good. Evan, what you got? Baseball or football?
I'll workshop this take. I think it actually might be easier to win in football than it is in baseball because
100%.
Because you just say you are a good team and like one of the 6 best teams in football and you get seeded there, you only need to win 3 games. Obviously, you got to go 10-2, whatever, but you got to win 3 games to get there. But baseball is through a full regional, which say you're the number 1 team, you're going to win your regional probably. But still, you got to play the games, then a super regional, then Omaha. Like that's just a lot of baseball. So I do think that if you ask me in this 2-year span, which team is more likely to get the title, I think I would lean baseball because I think they might be better equipped to win it next year as well. Not compared to this year, but just like between the 2 teams, I think there's more that ascending talent coming up, the Volantis Rodriguez class for next season. And I think Mendoza and Borba will still be there. We'll see it with Jonah, like Pack getting up, Cozart, all those guys. Whereas football, like you're going to lose Manning, Gooseby, Simmons, Coleman, those guys. So I do think there's a chance this is a year where you can do both. I don't think like the odds are super high because the odds of you doing one is pretty low anyway. But I would lean with baseball being the one that gets it done first, and I think it can happen for both teams within the next 2 years.
Agreed. I want to say baseball. I want to say football. This baseball team has a chance. Football team's going to have a chance for sure. It's hard to win in both, in my opinion, but I definitely agree in the sentiment that's a little easier in football. Good question though. That's a good one, man. You could go on about that forever. DKW and you, and then Nash. You brought it up first. I got to get y'all banned or something. That series hurt my soul, man. I don't know if I've ever wanted anything more than I wanted to win that series versus LSU, and the way that it happened for me was pretty heartbreaking. So game 3 was I think it was on a Sunday night. And so I had church, right? And like I couldn't miss church. There was some event going on, something that I was a part of, and like couldn't miss it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to turn my phone off. I'm not going to have any notifications. I'm going to go to the service. And when I come home, the game should be about wrapped up. I'll have it recorded. Boom. Going to watch the game. I won't know the score. All that happens. I get home. I've got it recorded. I don't rewind it. I press play, and the game is literally Texas is like got one of their last 2 outs or something. And, I was like, but honestly, maybe it saved me some pain. So, yeah, that series, I'll never forget that one, man. That was a lot of fun. And also, I got to watch Youngman. Well, Youngman was on that team, right?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think he was on the team yet. I mean, we had I know Ruffin was on the team. I'm just going back and reliving a little bit of pain myself here. Where we have 2 outs, and see, this is the thing about baseball, man. The game is not over until that final out is crossed off the board. I mean, we're sitting there 4-6. I'm like, man, okay, we're in a great spot. Oh no, bases clear and double. Game's tied, goes to extra innings, and then they win. I mean, it's
baseball. It's tough.
It's a very hard sport to win in consistently, which goes to show. I mean, there's been plenty of negative talk about this Texas baseball team, and which is weird considering we're 24-4. But I mean, it's hard to go and be this consistent as Texas has been, and they're a special group.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Again, a lot of work to do. That's going to be tough. You got some more fun and tough series coming up. Back on the road this weekend with South Carolina, but that's going to be it for us. I really do appreciate all the comments. We got everybody rolling in here tonight, and y'all make the show what it is. So thank y'all very much. And again, go check out Inside Texas for all the off-season content for football. You've got baseball content from these two gentlemen right here, and all types of content to go check out. So if you haven't done so, go subscribe, man. Take advantage of that Ultimate Fan Bundle being half off. Nash, thank you for doing it, man. I appreciate you getting in here and talking with me. Evan, as always, thank you, brother. And yeah, guys, until next time, I'll be back tomorrow night. We'll see you Friday night as well for the watch party. But everybody have a good night. Thanks for watching Inside Texas.